seated on the ground. So whenever you're ready, feel free to take a comfortable seat on blocks or a folded up yoga blanket. If it's comfortable for you to sit cross-legged like I am, where one leg comes in and then the other sits in front of it. I know it's hard to tell because my socks and feet are all dark. Feel free to sit that way. You can also bring the soles of the feet together and put these books or blocks under the knees like that and sit like this. That's another option too. But whatever is most comfortable for you, feel free to take that seat. And we're going to center and ground a little bit before doing some hip opening stuff today. And anything else that you would like to do, feel free to type in the comments. And we'll take requests that way too. But other than that, we just came back from a somewhat long walk, so hip openers are very good for us. And what else were we trying to teach today? Oh, standing postures. We're going to do a little bit of standing sequence too. So whenever you're ready, let's inhale the arms out wide and up, just to open up our practice. Exhale, pushing down. Again, inhaling the arms out wide and up, possibly leaning forward as you inhale. Exhale, push back down. And then this last time, let's inhale the arms wide and up. And when they get to the top, let's clap them together and rub the hands together pretty vigorously with the fingers spread wide. So my fingers kind of rub in between each other as I'm rubbing my hands together here. So I'm just building up a little heat in the palms of my hands that I'm going to distribute throughout the body in a little quick, gentle self-massage. So when you're ready, feel free to take your hands to the top of your head and just tap and kind of bring some life to the scalp here. Just for a second. Then we'll take our arms down to our ears and just grab the earlobes with between the thumb and the first finger, maybe the side of the first finger, and just gently pull the earlobes down. You can grab the back of the ears, the cartilage here, and just gently draw the cartilage back. And then you can grab the top of the ears and just draw little circles with your ears. If you're wearing glasses and it's more comfortable to take them off for this, totally fine. Feel free to move your jaw around as you do this, getting looseness through the mandible, through the jaw. Looking totally wild, perhaps. And then we'll just smooth the hands down the neck and out the shoulders as if we're flicking water off of our shoulders. You can even look down a little bit for this lengthening through the back of the neck. And just smoothing the hands down. From here, we'll cup the palms, so kind of like the royal wave. And we're just going to knock along the upper chest. Ladies, skip the breast area, or just breast-having people, skip the breast area. And the lower chest. And then we'll swipe the hands out the belly here a little bit. And let's take one hand and rub it down the outside of one arm and up the inside, kind of vigorously, again, like you're swiping water off of your arm. So one arm down the outside, up the inside, down the outside, up the inside, just going back and forth like this. And then we'll take that movement to the other arm, same thing. Down the outside, up the inside, down the outside, up the inside. Just kind of swiping off that arm. Then we'll do the same thing with the leg. Down the outside, up the inside, possibly taking socks off. Down the outside, up the inside. And we'll do it the same thing with the other leg. Down the outside, up the inside. And then finally, let's lean back, put our hands behind us, just resting them on the ground to support us. Let's tap the feet pretty quickly to sort of wake them up. And from here, we're actually just going to come all the way onto our backs. If you want to lay back on your folded up blanket, you totally can. It's okay to take this cozy. We'll put the hands behind the knees, and let's just turn the feet at the ankles. So turning from the toes. It's like I'm drawing little circles with my toes here. Knees are pulled in towards my chest. Hands are holding behind the knees. And then when you're ready, we'll switch direction, turning those little circles the other way. Oh, goodness.
Sometimes a cat gets in the way.
Super helpful he is. Very helpful little yogi. Now from here, let's draw the knees back in towards the chest and just rock side to side just a little bit, loosening up through the spine for a second before we will eventually make our way to standing. From here, feel free to bring the knees back in towards the chest holding still, or you can take them at a right angle. So my knees are directly above my hips here, and then my ankles are straight out from my knees, so my shins are parallel to the ground. From here, I'm just going to rest the hands on the belly and rotate from the knees. So I'm drawing a circle now. Instead of just with my toes, I'm drawing a circle with my whole foot on the wall across from me. And then when you're ready, no hurry, we'll switch directions, draw that circle the other way. Maybe you're starting to feel a little bit of engagement in the core here. That's fine. We aren't going to be doing a ton of core strengthening today, but it's always nice to make sure those muscles are still working. And then when you're ready, we'll draw the knees back in towards the chest. And again, hands on the knees. Let's rotate the knees now. So I'm just drawing little circles with my knees. First in one direction, really getting a nice massage on the low back. And then when you're ready, taking those circles the other way and going in the other direction. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. And then from here, if you are on a blanket, feel free to take the blanket out for a second, or you can just move it to a more comfortable place. And we're going to lay down on one side, supporting ourselves with the arm closest to the mat. So it doesn't matter which side. I'm going to bend the knee that's higher up, the one that's not touching the mat. I'm going to grab the ankle and draw the ankle towards my hip here, and then work on drawing the tailbone straight down as I do that. So I'm getting a little runner's stretch in this one leg that's not touching the mat. And then from here, you can bring a hand to a hip or let the hand rest in front of you. We're just going to draw circles from the hip, from the higher up hip, from the hip that's not resting. Oh, I'm so sorry, Vaughn. From the hip that's not resting against the mat. It's the absolute worst when you're a cat and you're so used to sleeping on a certain place and then your humans leave their garbage on that chair and you have to bite on the garbage. Oh, it's terrible. So when you're ready, we'll switch directions, taking that leg the other way. Oh my God. And then last but not least, last thing to kind of start warming up the hip, we're just, oops, hopefully not gonna kick our radiator, but we're just gonna slide the leg back and forth here. You can keep that leg that's on the ground bent, or you can straighten it out here as you do this. That's totally fine. And then when you're ready, we'll roll onto our back. So drawing the knees up again towards the chest. You can put the hands behind the knees here and just rock back and forth a little bit along the spine. If this is hard on your spine, feel free to rock on one side of the spine and on the other side of the spine. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to our backs and then turn to the other side. You'll see this on me from behind this time. Same thing. I'm propping my head up with the arm that is touching the ground. And actually, you know what? I'm going to turn around so you can see me a little better. So I'm propping my head up, and I'm going to take that knee that's on top here and bend it deeply, bringing the heel towards my hip, and then taking the tailbone down. So the knee is pointing straight down. If there's a straight line from my shoulder to my knee, and I'm feeling a little stretch in the front of that bent knee. Then from here, I'm going to release the knee and place the hand either on my hip or on the ground in front of me, and just draw little circles with that knee, exploring space. So rotating from the hip socket here. Breathing deep the whole time. And then when you're ready, we'll switch directions, taking those little circles the other way. So just a little bit of warming up on the hips before we do some more dramatic hip stuff. And then from here, let's just kind of swing the leg back and forth. Loosen up through the hips. You can keep your leg that's connected to the ground here bent, or you can straighten it out as you do this, making it a little bit more of a balancing adventure. All right, and then when you're ready, we'll bend both knees, roll over onto our bellies, and push ourselves up to table. Will you share some of your table wisdom with us? And feel free in table, if you like, to take your blanket, your folded up blanket, and place your knees on that for extra padding, extra support for the knees.
So lining up knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. We're going to inhale, the tailbone comes up, belly drops, the head comes up. And as we exhale, the tailbone drops, the back rounds, and the head drops. So just going back and forth, inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Let's see. And then we're going to start to do a circular motion with the spine. So you can imagine your spine is like a jump rope, slow motion jump rope. And we're just trying to rotate it a few times in one direction. You can let the head just sort of go with the motion of the spine, or you can just let it relax. And when you're ready, we're going to switch the direction. So we'll take it in the other direction. And then we'll come back to center. We can do some stuff to stretch the shoulders, open up the shoulders a little bit. So we'll do some threading the needle. So we're going to spread the fingers really wide on the left hand, and we're going to turn to the right. We're going to reach up towards the right side, towards the sky with our right hand. And then on the exhale, we're going to thread the needle. We're going to take that right hand underneath of the left arm. Maybe you come down to the left shoulder if you'd like to have a block for support here. You can have that. And so maybe this is as far as you get. That's fine. If you want to take it a little further, you can take the top hand, the left hand, and put it on top of the right hand, interlace the fingers, and try to straighten that top arm, and that will help you twist a little bit more. Another thing you can do, if you'd like, you can inhale that left arm up to the sky, and then exhale it down to the sacrum. Check in with your sacrum, make sure it's facing towards the earth and not to the left or the right. And then you can take that left hand and maybe wind it around. Maybe you find the outer upper right thigh. No matter where you are on your shoulder opening journey, just breathe deep into the opening that you're creating on the right shoulder. And then we're going to come out of this. We're going to inhale our left hand up to the sky. Exhale it down next to your face. We're going to press into that left hand to come up, twist to the right. Let's reach up one more time to the right with the right arm. And then exhale, coming down, back down to tabletop. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So let's spread the fingers really wide on the left hand this time. We're going to turn to the left and reach up. And then exhale, we're going to thread the needle again. Take that left arm underneath of the right arm, bring the left shoulder to the earth, left ear maybe comes to the earth.
Or a block.
Or a block, feel free to pad if you need to. And if you want to take this into a little bit more of a twist, first thing you can try is putting that right hand on top of the left hand, interlacing the fingers, and try to straighten that right arm. Another option you can take if you want is to reach that right arm up to the sky. Exhale it down to the sacrum. Check in, make sure it's pointing at the earth and not to the left or right, and then take that Maybe take your hand around. Maybe you find the outer upper left thigh this time. And no matter where you are, just breathe deeply. Breathing into the opening on the left side this time. And when we're ready to come out, we'll inhale out, right arm up to the sky. Exhale it down next to your face. We're going to press into that right arm to come up. Inhale, turning to the left again. Reach up to the left with the left arm. And coming back to tabletop position.
And then, you got something else?
No, you go ahead. You got the...
Unless you got something.
I was going to do Anahata, but I know you like to teach the other...
I was just going to get us standing.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's just, from tabletop, let's just tuck our toes, lift our hips, coming back into downward facing dog. So let's just hang out here for a minute. This is our in between the seated and standing posture, because we are going to make our way to standing from here. But for just a second, examine your downward facing dog. This might be your first downward facing dog of the day, the week, the year, or your lifetime. You never know. So from here, what that means is I'm keeping a slight bend in my shoulders so that they don't come way up to my ears here. I'm keeping them coming down my back towards my sacrum. It's kind of a reversal because my shoulders actually are going up my back, but my back is upside down, so it's a whole other thing. Knees for me are slightly bent so that my tailbone can really be pointing up towards the ceiling. If you have very loose hamstrings, then by all means, straighten the knees and experiment with lowering the heels, not just down towards the mat, but also back towards the back of the mat. You really want to feel like you're ripping your mat apart between your hands and your feet here. Hands are about shoulder width distance, maybe slightly wider. Feet are about hips width distance, maybe slightly wider. And then from here, let's just try a quick twist. So for this twist, I'm really going to ground into my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand up and reach back for my right knee or shin or calf or ankle, or just reach it back, maybe right thigh. Looking under my right armpit here. Breathing deep. And then when you're ready, we'll replace our left hand and this time ground into that left hand. So what does that mean? Spread the fingers real wide so that no one can come by and lift any of your fingers off the mat too easily. And then from here, let's take that right hand and reach for the left leg, left knee, left shin, back of the left leg, whatever you got. Trying to keep your hips even, not very easy for me, but I'm trying. And looking under our left armpit. And then when you're ready, we'll place the right hand. Then from here, let's just walk the hands back towards the feet. So knees can be bent as you do this, or if you want to challenge your forward fold, knees can be straight. We'll fold forward for just a second. Inhaling deeply, and then exhaling, allow yourself to fold maybe a little deeper as you have a complete exhale and the belly really empties out. And then wherever you're at, on your next inhale, let's swan dive back up to standing, arms coming up above the head, maybe even bringing the hips forward a little bit for a slight back bend. On the next exhale, palms come and rest right in front of the chest. And I'll tilt this up a bit so you can see us better. There we go. All right, so we're standing. How great is that? To be standing up again, to be helping your sleeping cat off of a pile of fluorescent lighting. All right, from standing here, we never do this, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a few sun salutations just to kind of get the spine flexible, maybe just one, and those sun salutations might work their way into something a little more dramatic. So a nice thing to do at this point is to take, if you're practicing with two blocks or block-like objects, put them around the front of your mat like this, just staging them for when you'll need them, which will possibly be quite soon. And when you're ready, come on up to the front of the mat. We're gonna go through just one sun salutation A before taking it to something else. So feet can either be at hips with distance here, or big toes can touch with a little bit of distance in between the heels, like maybe 2-3 inches, so that the sides of my feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. I'm gonna inhale my arms out wide and up. Exhale, folding forward all the way. Inhale, come up to a flat back, so lengthen the spine, keeping the chin tucked here. Exhale, folding forward, plant the hands, and you can step the legs back to plank, either up like this, with knees up, or plank with knees down like this, as long as you keep a nice long line from the shoulders to the knees, or from the shoulders to the heels if you're up in plank. From here, let's everybody lower the knees, and we'll come down through knees, chest, and chin. So keeping the elbows tucked in towards the sides of the body, we'll exhale the chest and chin down to the mat. From here, we'll inhale up to Cobra, so hips are down, heart is open, elbows might be slightly bent, but shoulders are down here. And then tuck the toes, lift through the hips, maybe bending the knees, exhaling back to downward facing dog again. Here we are, back in our downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal the heels if you like. And do what you need to do to make this feel delicious and comfortable as best you can. Yoga will put you in positions physically that feel extremely uncomfortable sometimes, and the secret is not that, oh, the teacher's doing a terrible job teaching you because you're uncomfortable. The secret is it's up to you to find comfort in these positions, and that might be doing something totally different from what the teacher is as expressing that you could do. Whatever it feels like your seat of comfort is how you find the asana, the seat of comfort, the seat of meditation of this practice. So if it's more comfortable for you to be in the child's pose right now or a forward fold, take it. But if you're finding comfort in this downward facing dog, by all means take that too. So when you're ready, let's just walk the feet slowly up towards the hands at the front of the mat, folding forward. And then when you're ready on the next inhale, arms come out wide and up. And then exhale, palms down to the chest. So we've warmed up the back a little bit. Let's take that a little further. So inhaling the arms out wide and up. Exhale, folding forward again. Inhaling up to flat back again. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands. Legs come straight back again for plank, either full plank or half plank with the knees down. When you're ready, we'll exhale down through knees, chest, chin again, or chaturanga. That's when I come down with my knees up like this. So I'm inhaling deeply, and then I exhale and I move forward, keeping the elbows at a right angle to the ground. Exhaling all the way down. We'll inhale up through Cobra, hips are down, shoulders are down, heart is up. Exhaling, bending through the knees, maybe coming through tabletop to downward facing dog. Breathing deep, maybe catching your breath in the downward facing dog. And when you're ready, right leg will come up, straight up from the hip. I'm trying to keep my hips even here, so I'm not opening that right hip up, but just kind of keeping the hips together. And then exhale that right knee forward, stepping the leg in between the hands. Another way of doing this would be to walk that right knee forward, stepping in between the hands. We'll try a lunge, and then we're actually gonna come back down again. I lied. So inhaling, arms come up. So what's happening here is my back leg, which is my left leg, is up. My toes are tucked. I'm on the ball of my foot. My right knee is bent, but not coming out over my right ankle, but it's maybe slightly behind or just above. Arms are up. And from here, I'm gonna open the arms to the right, twisting to the right, turning the palms face up. So I've got a little twist here in this standing lunge. If this feels like as far as you want to go today, great. If you wish to take it farther, you can bend that left elbow, bring it on the outside of the right knee, Bring the right hand to the left in prayer and look over your right shoulder here for just a second. And then when you're ready, we'll look at the ground. Lower the hands to your blocks or to the ground, and we'll lower that left knee. So now we are coming into a lunge, and you might be finding that your right knee is jutting out over your right foot, in which case just toe heel your right foot forward a little bit. From here, we're gonna lean forward into this lunge. You can untuck the back toes if you want. And we're gonna come up either to our knee like this. This is a crescent lunge, or arms can come all the way up. When I first started practicing yoga, this was a very not possible for me posture. So if it feels hard, I hear you, it is hard. But you get used to it after a while, and you find your seat of comfort. You find the asana, the seat of meditation to this practice. For me, somewhere down in my hips. But for other people, it might be up in the heart, keeping the heart open, or maybe even crown of the head, who knows. When you're ready, hands come back down to the blocks if you like. And I'm actually gonna walk my front foot forward even more and start sitting back. So this is a posture called half split. With this one, let me show you from the side real quick. So with this one, the important thing here, and this isn't an easy posture for me, so you might need to use your imagination a little bit, but the important thing here is that my left leg, which is bent and supporting me, I'm not leaning way too far back, not like this, that my left hip is right over my left knee. And then really from here, the right leg can come forward. At this point, we're gonna start folding forward over that right leg. So what that means is I'm lengthening the spine, I'm drawing the right hip back into the right hip socket. And I'm just kind of coming forward over that right leg. If this is easy for you, you can take the blocks down to a lower level or get rid of them completely and just have hands on the ground. It's not easy for me. So I keep these blocks official. And then from here, if this was not enough, you can stay here if this is enough. If it's not enough, let's take both blocks to the right side of our right leg and just kind of fold a little bit towards the right while keeping the legs still in the same kind of setup. So don't move the legs at all, but the upper body is moving here. Ooh, hello. And then we'll bring the blocks around to either side of the leg, come back forward into our lunge, tuck the back toes, place the hands on the mat, lift the back knee, so we're back towards our more kind of conventional standing lunge. And it's up to you here if you want to do a vinyasa. I'll demonstrate that, or you can just come right back to downward facing dog. So if you wish to do a vinyasa, you can take that right leg back to meet the left. Hello, here I am in plank again, hooray. And your choice, knees, chest, or chin, or knees, chest, and chin, or just plain old chaturanga, exhaling down, inhaling upward facing dog, or Cobra, upward facing dog with the hips up like that, or Cobra with the hips down like this. Shoulders are coming down for either of them. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Catch your breath for just a second, or at least I will. And then we'll do the other side. Did you remember all the stuff I just taught you? You want to teach the other side?
Yeah, correct me if I
Okay.
forget anything. So I think we're gonna lift the left leg this time.
Mm-hmm.
And exhale, we'll take it all the way to the top of the mat, setting up for our lunge on this side. And I think we just come up and do it, right?
At this point, yes, I think we do.
So we're just gonna
Yeah, you got it.
inhale, coming up into that lunge. Hands overhead, relax. See if you can find your position, your seat of comfort, if at all possible. Tucking the tailbone slightly helps. Pressing, really activating back through that back leg, so really making that back leg very strong, pressing out a little bit through the heel. And then I think we're gonna turn
to the left.
To the left?
Yeah, we're doing a twist.
Turning to the left. So we're doing, to the twisted lunge. So twisted.
Twisted. You got it twisted.
Reaching arms out, turning to the left. If you want to take it a little more, you can bring that right arm across the left thigh, maybe palms touch. Hands come into prayer. You're turning open to the left.
Try not to fall down.
And then
from here, we
that.
just untwist. Hands come to blocks if you like.
Oh, when we come
You
down.
might not need blocks. You might not be a block type like me, which is totally fine. And then from here, we'll bring that right knee down.
Setting up for
Just a lunge.
You want a half split, not a half split.
We will. But let's enjoy this crescent lunge first.
Oh, wait, the crescent lunge. Yes.
It
You
is
can
really
feel free to untuck the back foot if that's easier for you. You don't have to. And then you can inhale arms up overhead.
Or just bring them to your knees, fine.
Or just bring them to your knees.
Or keep them on blocks. But
whatever you do, try to relax the shoulders, open out through the chest here. So we're not having a bunch of tight tension in the shoulders. Just relax them down, opening hearts.
no, tense shoulder.
And then now we come back for the half split, right?
Yes, now the arms can come back down. That front leg can walk a little bit more forward, and we'll draw the hips back. So flexing that left foot now a little bit. And remember, again, we want the right hip to be just over the right knee. We don't want to be further back like that. I mean, you could be, but for today, try just having the hip over the knee. And then from here,
over the leg.
Keeping the spine long, which sometimes just might mean tucking the chin. If you have very, very tight hamstrings like me, and this is really an intense posture, feel free to have a micro bend in the extended leg. So in this case, the left leg. And then when you're ready, if you like, you can walk both hands over to the left side, either on blocks or maybe on the ground. If you're just one of those magical people that can do that.
And try to keep your bottom half of your body still in the same position. So you're just turning the top part of the body, the legs not opening out with you.
Breathe deep. Whew.
And then we'll bring it back to center.
Oh, I think we came forward.
Come back into our lunge.
So with this lunge, feel free to draw that left heel back a little bit since we're coming right back into lunge. And we really want the left knee right above the left heel here. And then from here, hands meet the mat again and again, optional vinyasa, or you can come straight to downward facing dog, your choice. So optional vinyasa, I lift my right knee, draw my left to meet my right, and do a chaturanga. Inhaling up to downward facing dog, or upward facing dog, excuse me, of Cobra. Exhale back to downward facing dog. So we'll all meet up here. And I bet you it's the end of class.
I'll bet you're right.
I'll bet you're Bibby.
Let's see.
It's the end of class.
6:08.
Oh, perfect. So when you're ready from your downward facing dog here, let's just bring our knees to the mat. Draw our hips towards our heels and sit back into child's pose. And we're just going to take what we can from this child's pose. So if it's more comfortable for you to have the knees far apart and be extending forward like this with your chest towards the ground, that's great. You'll get a heart opener that way. Or if you prefer, you can keep the knees right next to each other. Peel the chest down over the legs and then draw the hands back to wrap around your heels, holding tight here like a little seed, pressed into the ground. Forehead rests on the mat. Hips work their way down towards the heels here. And then when you're ready, and now the moment before that, feel free to bring your hands right under your shoulders, pushing down to come up to seated. Let your hips fall to one side. Legs can come out in front of you. We'll slide forward on the mat a little bit. You can just spinal twist, happy baby Savasana.
Sure. So let's come down on our mats, but you can keep your knees bent, keep your feet on the mat. First we'll do some spinal twisting. So let's take our arms out into a T. And let's bring the knees together. Let's bring them up actually, and let's just gently lift our hips at like a centimeter off of the earth and bump them over to the left. And then we're gonna let the knees fall over to the right. You can turn your head to look to the left. If you want an extra, this isn't enough of a twist for you and you feel like you need more of it, you can even cross the left leg over the right leg if that gives you more of something that you want.
And another option too, especially if you find in your twist that it's hard for you to keep both shoulders on the mat, feel free to put one of your blocks or props under your knees, under your right knee, so that they rest on something and it's easier to keep both shoulders connecting to the mat.
The ideas with the twist is that you want both shoulders on the ground, and we don't on the ground and not both shoulders, because now we're not getting as much of a twist here, bringing our shoulder up off the earth. We get more of a twist if we put both shoulders down and let the weight of our legs and gravity work the twist. And if your legs aren't touching the ground, that's okay. You know, they don't all make it. Sometimes they'll get there eventually. And then, so next thing we're going to do is inhale our knees back up to our chest. You can hug them in a little bit, you can rock a little bit, you can, if you need to recenter your hips on the mat or whatever you like to do, go for it. And then again, let's keep our knees up into our chest like this. Let's take our arms out into a T again. And then this time we're gonna lift our hips a centimeter, millimeter, whatever, an inch off of the earth, bump them over to the right, just slightly, put them back down, and this time let the knees fall off to the left. And again, same option. If you need more of a twist, you can cross that right leg over that left leg. Again, try and keep both shoulders on the ground, turn the head to the right, and just breathe deeply. And when you're ready, we'll bring the knees back up. Let's maybe hug them in one more time. And then we're gonna open up into a happy baby. So with our knees hugged in really close, let's take our legs out. So it's like our feet are standing on the ceiling. Knees are bent, you can grab just outside of the legs, just outside of the feet, or you can grab inside the feet as well, whatever you feel like doing. Try tucking your tailbone slightly so you feel your lower back flatten onto the ground below you. And if you want to do a little bit of rocking side to side, if that's something that you like, go for it. Rock into your partner. You can also rock to one side, straighten the leg out off to that side, go back to the next side, open out the other side, straighten the other leg, kick your partner. Whatever you want to do, just have fun with it. Whatever you need to, whatever gives you what you're looking for out of a happy baby pose.
And then what's up?
You had something to say?
I was just gonna say, when we come out of this, we have a few options for Savasana today since I've told us to have blocks and props. So you can come into your traditional Savasana with legs pointing out towards the edges of your mat, arms resting, palm face up about 1 foot or so from each hip bone. Or another option, and you don't have to be in Shavasana like this for the whole time, but you can take one of these blocks and place it right below the kind of points of the shoulder blades here. So it would be like this area kind of. So to show you what I'm going to look like when I'm doing this, the block is kind of under my heart area. So it's not the middle of my back. I'm not thrusting my abdominal cavity up, but it's kind of more under the heart here. For ladies or people who wear bras, it's under the brow line kind of. And then from here, arms kind of come out to my sides like this, or up above my head like this, if this is comfortable. The last option, and you can stay like this in the upper body, or you can come down off the upper body. But the last option is to draw the soles of the feet together and lay here in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle posture as we rest. And again, you can put blocks under the knees here if you like. If you happen to have 3 block-like objects, you could even have one under your spine as you're doing this too in the heart opener that I just showed. So whatever it is that's the most comfortable for you, by all means, find that Shavasana. You don't have to commit to it for the whole time. If you're wearing glasses, feel free to take them off and rest there somewhere to the side that's safe, where you know you're not going to roll over on them by accident. And feel free to make yourself comfortable for a short rest as we let all the beneficial effects of this quick practice really soak in. Allow the breathing to become natural. Soften the jaw, the edges of the mouth. Soften the area in between the eyebrows. Soften the shoulders, the heart, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, hands, fingers. Chest, belly, torso, hips, thighs, knees, calves, feet, toes, organs, everything. when you're ready. If you're ready. Because I hate to take us out of such a comfortable repose. Feel free to bring some life to your fingers and toes. You can turn the head gently side to side. If your knees are bent or there's a block under your back, you can take them all out for a second and just rest in Savasana for 1 second. We'll turn the palms up and down really quickly, waking up the arms. Turn the head side to side as you do this. You can turn the feet in and out as you do this. Arms, legs, head, all awake. You can stretch the arms long above the head, stretch the legs together long. And then roll off to one side or the other, resting in a fetal position for just a second. I am possessed by a fetal position. And then when you're ready, we'll push down with one hand and then the other, taking time to sit up on a block or a folded blanket to find a comfortable seat. So, and then from here, we'll inhale the arms out wide and up. And exhale, push down. Inhale the arms out wide and up again. Exhale, push back down. And this last time you can join us in that Om, inhaling the arms up wide. And then exhaling the palms to the chest. We'll inhale deeply for our Om. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with us today. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you much. We will be here or in person next week. We'll send out an email. So grateful that you joined us today. There we go. We'll stop there.